my channel. I am Kelechi. This is new to my channel. I talk about everything in healing, deliverance, restoration, and really the focus is to bring women into the knowledge of who they are through Christ Jesus, your identity. I am someone who is a trainer, supervisor, but number one, daughter of God, and I like to share experiences of how I journey to this point of identity. I'm as a women's leader, a ministry leader, and I like to help other people who are also called by the Lord, but you are trying to understand certain things. You're trying to come into your own identity. I want to bring to you a video that might help and support for some of those that are struggling with understanding why God may not have opened some doors of provision or promises to you in this season. Okay, and I think this will be really helpful for you who might be struggling with trying to identify what season you're in. Is God holding things back? Is God, is he upset with you? Are things that he's unsatisfied with? I can understand and I can relate to the frustrations. For many years, I was in a place where I would say looked like I felt God was not listening to me, was not hearing me. There was a place of delay. But in those seasons, these were the most teachable moments. And this is what I share on this platform. For some of the seasons where I thought God had delayed answering or delayed provision in my process of inner healing and deliverance and restoration, that was very key. So on this platform, I talk about the journey of deliverance, restoration. I talk about the journey of how God has brought me into a place of understanding the times and the seasons and the paths that he had to bring me through. So where I had thought were delays were not actually delayed. It was actually the time where the Lord could really test me, identify what was in my heart. And so I want to bring this video to you because some of you may say there may times where you're thinking, okay, God, why has this opportunity not opened up to me? God, why am I in this place where there are recurring cycles or ill events that are happening? I just don't understand why this is happening. God, would you bring me insight? I've got my laptop here, so if you see me looking down, it's so that I can keep to the subject and the time. So in your life, we often find ourselves yearning for opportunity, success, and recognition. And so we can pray fervently for doors to be open, believing that these opening of these doors are ultimate fulfillment, okay? For some of us, we struggle with the whole idea is if this door has opened or this answer to a prayer that I've been praying for many years, this is a sign of fulfillment. And so this is what I used to say to people, which is really key, is sometimes you don't understand that the very thing you are praying for, this is a word for sometimes, the very thing, all chaos is happening in your world, but in the spirit, you have gone through significant improvements. Your ability to hear God has improved. Your ability to understand God has. And this is a word for someone. Sometimes you have thought all chaos has broken loose, where your life to people may not seem to make sense. You have lost vehicles, lost your home, lost situation, and it doesn't make sense as to why things look like this for me. But in the spirit, you have never prayed so much. You have never been so much in your word. And that effectively is the sign of success, okay? But you have identified your sign of fulfillment by the physical things. However, we need to take a moment to reflect and have the gratitude for the doors that God did not open, for the provision that he did not give you in that time. Why? Number one, some things to consider is what is the test and the training in this time? Is that very thing going to be a deterrent from what God is doing in bringing you into righteousness, into bringing you into a place that you're able to hear from him? Is that very thing, is God giving you that thing so premature right now that what he's trying to develop in you would not be able to develop if you have that very thing in your hand? If God gives you that business opportunity right now, what does that look like in your own personal journey? If we very easily are able to fall off track and are able to go back to old ways, when we get the propositions that we want, sometimes the delay in that particular thing is God is trying to ensure that he sees where your heart is. Are you in a place Are you in a place that you're able to be so dedicated and consistent with the things of the Lord that when this door and this thing happens, it doesn't deter you? I know this is a factual, because if you see the character of God, again, going to the Israelites, okay, the whole breakdown of how we live in this Christendom, read the Old Testament, you will see the patterns of disobedience. God was often testing the Israelites' heart. He would allow affliction to come on them in the form of the Philistines to ensure that they came to the knowledge that they cannot do this without him. Okay, sometimes he will allow them. You want a king in Samuel? Come and have Saul. Saul is going to be like this. And even still, they still took Saul as king, and look what happened in that instance. God will allow situations to cause afflictions to bring us into alignment. And sometimes the very thing not being open to you is to test, to see what's within you. Number 2, you need to consider, what has God assigned and spoken to you about that maybe you haven't been obedient to? Obedience is so important. In 1 Samuel 15, God says, I think it's Samuel says to Saul, obedience is better than sacrifice. God desires, the way we demonstrate, someone said this, and if I can put the sentence up, I went to a retreat and Leslie from the retreat, she was one of the speakers, said this, and it's never left me. One thing to understand is that one of the things that God is demonstrating and showing you in this very season is the act of obedience. And are you able to, some of the things that God has revealed to you, you haven't even done yet, right? We're praying for this door to open. For me, I was praying for particular things, and God says even the small things of being obedient to what I'm asking you in this season, you're not able to even do. Some of the things God is not even going to open the door to the next thing unless I am obedient. And some of the things is so small. Could you stop eating this thing for this period? God may be challenging you. Would you put down this habit for this period of time? What has God spoke to you about? And this is so convicting for me because I can identify. What has God spoken to you about that you are yet to do? You are yet to come into obedience, or you are yet to say, okay, God, I am going to be obedient to everything you're saying. What has God spoken to you about that you are yet to do? So could it be disobedience as to why that particular thing has not opened for you? Why should we thank God? Why should we thank God for closed doors? And this is the question. Are we supposed to be visible and thriving? Should our prayers for success come with an expectation of a limited access and opportunity? Should that be the case? Should that be the case? Should we be expecting for things to be an open door for us for forever? Like, should it be the situation that every door should be presented to us and it should be open to us? We need to thank God for the doors that he has closed. For in reality, not every door that we desire to be open is in our best interest. Not every opportunity that our hearts desire is in our interest. God understands the deep-seated desires in our heart. However, he also knows that our yearning to be recognized can sometimes lead us down a path of self-glorification. I have been there so many times. This insight would arrive for you in helping you to discover your identity in Jesus Christ, okay? So in the process of discovering your identity, you may think, actually, this proposition, this door being open is a sign of affirmation, but really it isn't. The actual thing is, what can you evidence as the fruit of the Spirit that will be the sign in this season of victory? Thank you, Holy Spirit. So imagine stepping through a doorway, unprepared, without the revelation or the understanding necessary to navigate the journey ahead. Many of us find ourselves in predicaments seeking visibility without realizing that our true calling may still be shrouded. So the question is, sometimes in the season of waiting for God to open a particular door, and this is doors that I'm specifically speaking about that he has said to you, or he has spoken to you, or you have visions or dreams about, it is to think about what has been the learning in the season of waiting. Okay, we need to embrace them, for it's integral in your growth and understanding how you navigate in this faith journey. Trust that every door that he doesn't open serves as a purpose. Okay, now one of the primary examples to show you, again reference to the children of Israel, is that they had a 7-day journey turned into a 40-year journey. Okay, God had delayed specifically as a result of their unbelief and their murmuring The men who were called in war, I believe it was in the book of, what's before Deuteronomy? Numbers. If you read the book of Numbers, you understand that due to disobedience and complaint, the men that came out, who were 600,000 men, died in the wilderness because God wiped them out because they were complaining and murmuring, God, have mercy on us. Their journey was delayed and their children were going to see the manifestation of the promise. Can you understand? Ho, ho, ho. Oh, it's so deep. Like, it is so deep. The journey is so essential for you to understand, is that due to their disobedience, they did not see, oh my gosh, they were unable to even recognize that this is what the promise was and we were supposed to be obedient and keep walking. They were still murmuring and complaining. So for some of us, I have to understand that there is going to be a waiting season, and God forbid it will ever be 40 years, okay? God forbid that a whole generation will pass. But some of you are now coming into the place where God is trying to help you to understand that there is a purpose in the waiting. So some doors will not be open. Let's thank God for the doors that he didn't open. Let's thank God for the seasons where doorways were unopened because we are unprepared for. There are reasons that God made. Disobedience may be one of them, and the testing of your faith could be another. Thank you so much for coming to the end of this video. Please do subscribe, share it with someone that you think will be helpful to. I'll be back next week for another video, so hopefully it will be helpful for you. I would love to know your feedback. Come from me over on Instagram or TikTok. Come and say hello. If you desire to join a platform where you are learning to pray, please do let me know. Send me an email below, and yeah, I will speak to you very soon. God bless. Bye. Mwah.